morning and welcome to our 8 o'clock briefing for February 19th Board of Commissioners meeting. Invocation will be Vice Chair Bill Pate. Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner George Wayne Aycock Jr.
Yes, sir.
Then we'll go through the approval of amendments. Any discussion or adjustment of the agenda, Mr. Honeycutt?
Not at this time.
Does any board member have anything to add or comment on?
Not at this time.
All right. And then we have the employee service pins recognition, and then a special presentation from Ms. Sherry Archibald.
Yes, sir.
In public comments, appointment committee, Mr. Aycock.
Yes, sir, we have one.
Thank you. And then we'll do the consent agenda, and Mr. Honeycutt, I ask you and Ms. Spate to take from here.
All right. I will turn it over to Allison for our budget amendments.
Okay. First budget amendment is for the sheriff's office, anticipating and appropriating $44.75 in controlled substance monies. For the sheriff's office, requested to reallocate $11,214 in salaries for the school resource officers. This is to account for a promotion within that department. For FEMA, Hurricane Florence, you will see this is a very long-looking budget amendment. This is basically just anticipating all the reimbursements we expect to receive from FEMA, from insurance reimbursements, and I believe we had some donations, and to cover those expenditures accordingly.
Have we actually received that?
No, not sir. No, sir, not yet. And actually, the FEMA reimbursement will probably exceed what we've budgeted because we're budgeting on actual expenditures, but they pay out for things like hours of usage and wear and tear on equipment, things like that. So it could be a while from FEMA.
But we're anticipating it.
Sir,
We're anticipating.
we are anticipating.
Is this for the last storm or the one 2.5 years ago?
This is from Florence. I think we actually are still waiting on one payment from Matthew, though. I believe we're waiting on our last payment from Matthew.
Have we got the money for the EMS station?
The Seven Springs, yes, sir. I think we did receive that. If Angie's listening, she'll probably chime in and verify that for me, so I'll let you know if it's any different. Are y'all okay with moving on? For the OES department, we are requesting to reallocate $14,000 from various line items to utilities, and they did a breakdown behind your budget amendment of why they're reallocating from those different line items. But their electricity usage at the tower sites has increased, so they've had to account for that increased expenditure this year.
Have we found out why that increased so drastically?
We haven't. We're still looking.
Okay.
I asked the same question.
I mean, that's a big increase.
Okay, for the detention center, we are requesting to appropriate $200,000 in general fund balance for the central prison line item. This is related to the safekeeping charges that we have to pay if an inmate requires that particular service, and that would be related to things like medical costs and things like that while they're in safekeeping. And that is based on the latest invoices we have and projecting through that we're hoping this will get us through the rest of the fiscal year. For social services, we're anticipating an additional $149,891 in administrative revenue. And this would go towards the Low-Income Energy Assistance Program, or LEAP, and it's 100% funded, so the county does not require a match on that. For the Jetport, we're anticipating an additional $692,439. This was additional funding from NCDOT, Aviation Division, the Economic Development Funds, and that is going towards the corporate area expansion project. Finally, we have a budget amendment for EMS, and we are requesting to reallocate for medical supplies and capital outlay vehicles. This is related to the change orders that came about on the EMS stations. And I discussed this with the managers at EMS, and they were good with reallocating from these line items. They felt like they could spare that money. So I was trying not to use fund balance on this if we could help it. But these were change orders that did have to be approved for those projects.
And these were approved by Kendall, again, just bad souls.
Are we through with change orders now, you think?
I
That-
don't believe so.
I hope so.
That we know
I
of,
still have another one.
as of the 19th. It's still early on the 19th. There any questions on the budget amendments? Okay, next, on the consent agenda is motion to approve the addition of Glen Laurel, Section 9, Stony Creek Township to the state maintenance system as requested by DOT. Again, this is just fairly standard to put these roads into the state street system. Number 3 is motion to approve a one-year contract with Nunn, Brashear, and Azell to conduct our annual audit. And they've done a wonderful job for us, and appreciate the work that they do. Number 4 is a motion to adopt a resolution, the 26th Amendment to the pay plan, and we do have 2 changes. One is just changing our Animal Services Manager title to Director. And number 2 is taking a part-time position at the Jetport and making that full-time. Currently, we have had 2 part-time positions at the Jetport, and we're going to combine that to make it 1 full-time position.
Have we hired the animal service director?
Yes, sir. We hopefully will introduce him at our next meeting. Any questions? And then number 5 is motion to establish a public hearing on March 5th, 2019 at 9:15 regarding the economic development, historical preservation, and urban redevelopment agreement between the City of Goldsboro, County of Wayne, and WMB Landlord LLC. And if the board will remember, back in November, we did have a public hearing for historic tax credits. We did approve it at that time. The project kind of stalled, and now it is back moving forward. But on the advice of our attorneys, we felt like there was enough time that had elapsed that we just needed to make sure you were comfortable with the terms of the agreement. And we did get the tower agreement resolved, the tower access resolved.
And nothing else changed with the agreement?
Nothing else
It's
changed.
just
Timeline.
timeline.
Do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it has been extended, and that's one of the major reasons.
Okay.
The only thing on that is, I want somebody to stay on top of it. When they start their renovations now, I want to make sure everything that they do is according to the city's guidelines, down to the last nail.
Yes, sir. And then under new business, a motion to approve Resolution 2019-5, a resolution to establish the community of Starlight as an intersection name in the county of Wayne. And Mr. Chairman may have some information that he wants to share.
Well, this is a old community, and one of the integral parts to me was to try to get this moved along as fast as I could is Chris Keene, who's a volunteer fireman at George Chapel, and Chris has been real instrumental in this, and he may not be able to be here today, but if not, we've told his parents how he can live stream or go on the website and see the meeting as it was. So if you'll read that during that time, I'd appreciate it. And he may have an uncle here.
Yes.
So we'll recognize him for real.
Yes, sir. Then we have our Capture Glimpse video. from Public Affairs, and then we have our County Association video. And then there'll be county manager's comments, and I do have an update on open broadband.
Good,
So,
thank you.
and then. that's
Do we
all.
need a closed session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Should we go now?
Ken, it's to consult with your attorney to provide, to preserve attorney-client privilege.
Do I have a motion to go in closed session?
So moved.
Motion made. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay.